Hey Lisa, so with the maps, they're a little hard to get your brain around at first, and then they're not too bad. Where's my pen? With these, let me start with one where it isn't a function because I think it's easier to see what isn't a function, and that makes the rest of it make more sense. So if I ask, what state is the city of Springfield located in? You would tell me California, your great state of Texas, or Florida, according to this map, because Springfield goes to all three of those. So that would not be a function, because for this input, the input being the city of Springfield, and then the output is the where is it, it has three different places that could be. So if an input has more than one answer, it's not a function. In terms of a table, what that will look like is if I have a table that say look like this. When the input is 1, the output is 1. When the input is 2, the output could be 1 or 2. When we're looking at a table, what we're going to see is these repeated x values that's showing when we have this input, there's more than one correct output for that. When we're looking at it in terms of a map, what you'll see is more than one arrow leaving a given input. So down here, for the school at Savage High School, name a math teacher, there are 5 correct answers to who's a math teacher at this school. So again, you see lots of arrows heading from one input to multiple outputs. That's not a function. For these other ones, this feels like it might be a problem, but it actually isn't. So when the name is Thorin, that's a dwarf. When the name is whatever that is, that's also a dwarf. For each of these, the answer is always they're all dwarfs. So in terms of a table, what that would look like, you probably have an x and a y up there. When x is 1, y is 0. When x is 2, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 0. So you can have repeats in your y values. The outputs can happen multiple times, but for each input, there can only be the one output. So this would be a function because for each of these inputs, that's the only output. That's like this one. For this one, I can just kind of glance down it and see that there aren't multiple arrows leaving any of these elements. When the input is A, the output is only P. When the input is B, it's R. When it's C, it happens to be R again. But that's like this situation where for multiple x's, you can have the same y, you can have the same output. But for the same x, you can't have multiple y's. So this one would be a function. This one we talked about isn't a function because, and then Madison likewise, if the city's Madison, what state is it in? It could be California, Pennsylvania, or Florida, it looks like. And so that's not a function because for each input there's more than one output. Likewise here, for this input there's more than one output. This one's actually 1-to-1 for each input. There's just one output all the way down. So hopefully that helps a little bit.